Enlightenment is man's emergence from his self-incurred immaturity. Locke advocated natural rights to life, liberty, and property, forming the foundation of classical liberalism.
Freedom is not, as we are told, a liberty for every man to do what he lists, but a liberty to dispose and order as he lists his person, actions, possessions, and his whole property within the allowance of those laws under which he is, and therein not to be subject to the arbitrary will of another, but freely follow his own.
His ideas on the separation of powers were foundational to the concept of limited government.
Political liberty is to be found only in moderate governments.
Although more associated with classical liberalism, his emphasis on free markets and the invisible hand greatly influenced libertarian economics.
He generally, indeed, neither intends to promote the public interest, nor knows how much he is promoting it. By directing that industry in such a manner as its produce may be of the greatest value, he intends only his own gain, and he is in this, as in many other cases, led by an invisible hand to promote an end which was no part of his intention.
Kant emphasized individual autonomy and universal moral laws, laying the groundwork for ideas of liberty and self-governance.
Freedom is the alone unoriginated birthright of man. It belongs to him by force of his humanity.
Paine championed individual rights, democratic governance, and resistance to tyranny.
The world is my country, all mankind are my brethren, and to do good is my religion.
Throughout the 17th and 18th centuries, a radical idea began to take shape, one that would challenge the divine right of kings, the weight of feudal tradition, and the shackles of arbitrary power. The idea was liberty. It was not merely a cry for political independence, but a philosophy, a vision of a world where individuals were sovereign over their own lives. John Locke, the philosopher of natural rights, laid the foundation for modern liberal thought. In his two treatises of government, he argued that men are born free and equal, endowed with inalienable rights to life, liberty, and property. Government, he claimed, exists not to rule over individuals, but to protect these rights. If it fails in this duty, the people have not only the right, but the obligation to resist. Locke's ideas would echo through history, inspiring revolutions and shaping the very concept of a just society. In France, Charles de Montesquieu took Locke's ideas further. In the spirit of the laws, he championed the separation of powers executive, legislative, and judicial as a safeguard against tyranny. Liberty, he believed, could only survive if power was constrained, if no single authority could dominate society. His vision would influence the American Constitution, ensuring that government itself would be bound by law. Meanwhile, in Scotland, Adam Smith was laying the groundwork for economic liberty. In The Wealth of Nations, he revealed the power of free markets, arguing that prosperity arises not from central control, but from the spontaneous order of voluntary exchange. The invisible hand of the market, he explained, guides individuals pursuing their own interests toward the greater good of society. Free trade, competition, and limited government intervention were, in his view, the keys to wealth and progress. Across the German-speaking world, Immanuel Kant approached liberty from a moral perspective. He saw individual autonomy as the foundation of ethics. In his critique of practical reason, he argued that human beings must be treated as ends in themselves, never as mere means to another's goals. True freedom, for Kant, was not the absence of constraint, but the ability to act according to rational moral principles. And then there was Thomas Paine, the firebrand of revolution. In Common Sense and the Rights of Man, he spoke directly to the people, arguing that monarchy was an absurdity and that self-governance was the natural order of human affairs. Government, even in its best state, is but a necessary evil, he declared. Paine's words electrified the masses, fueling the flames of both the American and French revolutions. His vision was uncompromising, a world where the individual reigns supreme over state and ruler alike. Together, these thinkers forged the intellectual bedrock of classical liberalism. They taught that power must be constrained, that individuals must be free to think, trade, and govern their own lives, and that the rights of man are neither granted by rulers nor subject to their whims. Their ideas would spread like wildfire, reshaping nations and laying the foundation for modern libertarian thought. The struggle for liberty had begun and it would never be silenced.
Behold, how swift doth beauty weigh, like morning dew on golden gray. The fairest rose, the brightest hue, shall wither 'neath the evening's dew. All flesh is fading, dust we be, vain is all earthly dignity. Time's hand doth sweep both king and knave, and lays them silent in the grave. The jeweled crown, the victor's wreath, are naught before cold grasp of death. What profit hath the miser's store, when death doth rap upon his door? All flesh is fading, dust we be, vain is all earthly dignity. Time's hand doth sweep both king and knave, and lays them silent in the grave. The jeweled crown, the victor's wreath, are naught before cold grasp of death. What profit hath the miser's store, when death doth rap upon his door? The jeweled crown, the victor's wreath, are naught before cold grasp of death. What profit hath the miser's store, when death doth rap upon his door? The Jew yet weep, and love yet sigh, for all must fade, yea, all must die. Yet in the dust a seed is sown, where time nor death may claim his own. All flesh is fading, dust we be, vain is all earthly dignity. All flesh is fading, dust we be, vain is all earthly dignity. All flesh is fading, dust we be, vain is all earthly dignity.